Alright, y'all. I am ready for the storm. She's not ready for the storm, but I'm ready for the storm. Where's the sidewalk? Oh, it's over there. Alright, guys, we're down here on Bay Shore in Tampa. We're just gonna try to bring you guys a little bit of what it's like to be in Tampa a couple hours before the hurricane hits. I got my rain boots on. Okay, how do I say it?
The hurricane's name is Idalia.
Idalia. Okay, all right. Hey guys, it's Lupe reporting live from BBS, Black Broadcast Station, and here we are in Tampa, Florida on Bay Shore, and we are getting ready for what is supposed to be a Category 5 hurricane that's supposed to hit the Bay today. All right, guys, we're live with BBS, and as you can see, the hurricane has come. It is raining. The street is about to overflow. Things are getting real out here. I'm out here in my Burberry rain boots, doing what I can to bring you guys what is going on.
And the way you said it was funny. Yes, my love. Yes. Can I help you?
It was a very relaxed yes.
That's for damn sure. Definitely was a relaxed yes.
I think you liked it. But it caught you off guard.
It did catch me off guard. Did you realize we survived another hurricane?
You know, it's becoming a thing. And by survive, we mean we're adults and we have a house.
A whole house.
Because we have been living in Florida since we were little kids. And we survived, emphasis, many of hurricanes. But it's a little different when you're a whole adult and you have a whole house and you're not far from the water. It's a totally different feeling.
We're exactly 2.3 miles from the water.
Actually, I think I looked it up. It was 1.8.
Well, where I was at yesterday when I put the directions into the end of the road, it put us at 2.3 miles and we were in the ocean.
So we're about 2 miles. 2-ish. Little over.
I'm not going to lie. You kind of stressed me out a little bit because I wasn't really concerned because I don't really follow the news like that. Like, I'm not deep into, like, what's going on with the weather and shit. You are on that shit all the time. Like, you always know when there's a storm. It's very rare that you don't know.
Well, let me explain. I have a spidey sense that only starts twitching when some shit's going on. I've barely been paying attention to anything hurricane-wise, but something in my shanana said, look. Just look. It's about that time. Just look.
Just check it out.
And I looked, and I was like, oh.
Some shit going down.
There's something off, and I feel it. So, I'd rather be here if my house floods than not.
Facts.
So.
I mean, we're supposed to be on the road right now, headed up to New York.
We were supposed to be in Richmond, Virginia tonight. We had a cute hotel with our friend Casey K.
Facts.
And we are still here.
Oh, we had to. We had to be.
We did.
Hurricane.
I wanted to bring up something that's hurricane related that I had no idea even existed.
What?
Until it was too late.
What was it?
So, I've been hearing about hurricane cakes.
Hurricane cake.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I will explain. I've never heard of hurricane cakes, and we've been living here since we were little kids. Apparently, Publix was making hurricane cakes. And literally, I saw a picture of them, and they were so freaking cute. They're round cakes, and they put the swirls on it like it's a hurricane. And they were selling them for like a long time, and everyone would buy them out. Like, they would sell out of hurricane cakes when hurricanes were coming. They just discontinued them 2 years ago, and everyone is so upset. And I never even had one.
What I don't understand is why Publix would discontinue something that's so popular.
Well, and I saw it on, so after I found out what they were, then I don't know. You once you know something, you notice it. Mm-hmm. So there was a TikTok that came up, and people were like, that was such a comfort for us Floridians, these hurricane cakes. And I'm like, that's so sad. I don't know. Maybe it was maybe it was somebody that complained. I feel like it was somebody who's not from here and doesn't understand and doesn't know why we have cakes.
Yeah, but my thing is, I feel like you shouldn't sell hurricane cakes in places that don't have hurricanes.
No,
So,
it
like,
was here. It was
what
here.
I'm saying, who would complain? And if you live here and you're from here and you're complaining about a hurricane cake, you deserve to be slapped.
That's the thing. You live here. You're from here. How many people are here that weren't living here a couple years ago?
Facts.
So if you think about the time frame, they just don't understand us.
I guess you're right about that in a sense. I guess they wouldn't.
Most of America does not understand Floridians at all. They do not get us at all.
I guess you have a point there. I mean, yeah.
When we're like, oh, we're going to have a party. Because a lot of the time, we do all this preparing and we're freaking ready. We have our canned goods, our freaking water, our ice in case our power goes out, hella batteries, candles, all kinds of stuff. And we're just hanging out and nothing happens. That has happened so many times. So that's why we hang out and party and drink, because
I mean, at the end of the day,
it's a day off and it rains all day.
Like I was telling you earlier, if the storm surge, every video I've watched of storm surge takes at least like 20 minutes for it to get all the way, going. So you got at least 3 to 5 minutes before it's not drivable.
I mean, fair. But the only reason that I was more concerned than I've probably ever been in my life was because this particular hurricane, it developed in an area that it never has before. It went a path that is similar to some hurricanes, but the water's so much warmer. And it was a lot earlier for that type of hurricane. Like, it was like an unprecedented hurricane. There's no hurricane that's done exactly what it's doing. And a lot of these hurricanes do the same shit. They come off the coast of Africa. They come through the Caribbean. They swing up in the Gulf. Like, they're very predictable. This one was not. This was a weird one.
This was the hottest year on record.
It was.
Around the world. The global
and so now we're going to see
temperature
weird
went up,
shit.
like, point something degrees. So that's what I'm saying. So you believe in global warming?
I do.
So
I do.
You can honestly tell that we've been fucking with our planet.
I think it's a mix of both. Honestly, if you ask me honestly, I will have this debate with my father any day of the week, because he does not believe that humans have an effect on the atmosphere. But I think it's a mix of both. I think
maybe not the atmosphere, but we have an effect on the ocean.
We have an effect on our planet. We absolutely do. But I also do feel like that we go through cycles on the planet. So, like, it could have coincided, but we can't ignore the fact that we absolutely have an effect. So, but it's definitely getting hotter. It's freaking hot in Florida.
It's hot in Florida.
It is hotter than it's ever been, and they're saying it's setting records. This year is setting records. So
yeah, that's why when they said this was going to be the hottest year in my head, I'm like, oh, we're going to get some tremendously powerful hurricanes, because if you warm the water, the first thing the meteorologists always say is, oh my goodness, like it's getting to warmer water, it's going to intensify.
Well, you know what's something interesting, and I'm super into like science stuff, and when I say science stuff, I mean like natural things like weather, volcanoes, earthquakes, anything that's like natural science related. I'm all over that shit. So as soon as a hurricane's coming, I'm on that. I'm on it. I know everything about it. I need to know more about it. Like, I'm researching. Like, it's one of my passions. So when this was going on, they had a topic on there I think it was yesterday, that they were talking about the names of the hurricanes and how they've had to retire. So when they retire a hurricane name, it means it was a bad hurricane. Like, people can't hear that name again and not think of this terrible thing that happened. So they retire the name. And I thought it was interesting. They showed a chart of the names and the frequency of that letter being a retired hurricane. And I's were the most. And it's not like it was like a graph that like slowly, gradually went up and went down. No, I's, particularly I hurricanes, were the most retired. And then the second most was like F's. But it was just like, if you looked at the graph, it just didn't make sense. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, that's so interesting. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I is the 9th letter of the alphabet. that ninth storm is always crazy as fuck. But they also gave more information because, you know, they have lots of information on the Weather Channel. They don't have anything to talk about. And they gave us more information that was even more, it made my brain think. And they were like, normally the eyes don't happen till a little later in the year, like 2 or 3 weeks later. So that means that our ninth storm is happening sooner and is stronger sooner.
So that means pretty soon. Like,
so our time is getting longer. Not only are they starting sooner and they're bad, but when Hurricane Michael came in 2018, that was also unprecedented. It happened like the middle of October. When have we ever had really bad hurricanes like that in October?
Because that's towards the end, isn't it?
I want to say it was within the first week and a half of October. I'd have to look at the date.
When does hurricane season end?
Technically, November 30th, I want to say.
So it's at the tail end.
Yeah, but like the height of hurricane season is August and September. And I cannot remember there ever being that bad of a hurricane in October.
I mean, outside of that one, no.
Yeah, because it turned into a 5.
Facts.
This one, if you guys don't know, turned into a 4 right before it hit.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah. So it's just interesting. Like, the whole thing is crazy. Yeah. So to answer your question, because I went way all over the place, because I'm really interested in this. Yeah, I was a little alarmed because it formed an area it doesn't normally, and it was supposed to, which has happened like so many times, I don't even know how to count. It was supposed to hit us. Like we were literally, it wobbled a little towards the end, and so it went a little west and it saved us, but I swear if it didn't wobble,
do you think
all of us would have been flooded? Yes.
Do you think we would have been flooded? You think it would have reached our house? Because I really, after driving
I don't
around,
know.
I feel like it wouldn't have reached our house. I feel like even if it would have got, because that was...
That's the question I don't know the answer to, and I hate to be this person, but I want to know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I want it to hit, and I want to know what our house can hold up to. Just because of where it is. Like,
first of all, no. Second of all, hell no. And also, secondly,
that's my brain thinking.
So where we are, like inland, right? Although we are close to the water, we're inside of a channel.
We're protected to an extent.
Yeah, because we're inside of a cove.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine that we would get as much of a storm surge as you typically would see. You know what I mean?
Well, and it has to hit just right, because one thing that, again, I watched a lot of the news, it's not only the water rising, but some of that storm surge is directly from the wind literally pushing it. And if the wind isn't at the perfect angle to push it, because it was coming up, but like it would have to like turn and be like, it has to be perpendicular for it to have hit us the way that it hit up north. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, there's no way because of where, Tampa is strategically located, there's no way for it to like give a direct bam, but it would always hit us at an angle or like side. It would never hit us like
so it's more about, I guess, downtown Tampa than anything, because it's more natural for the hurricane to go up there and push like we saw. We went out there today. We didn't see much yesterday, but we went out today and there was definitely flooding in downtown Tampa.
There's a lot of flooding.
And I'm imagining that it was more earlier this morning. If we got out a little earlier, we probably would have seen more
for sure
flooding. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to be here to see what happened.
Yeah.
Because this was such a weird situation. And for those of you who live in other states and talk crap about us and say that we don't care and we just be partying and we don't prepare, yes, we fucking do. This is like normal life for us. So let us have our party to really alleviate our stress.
Facts.
Because we definitely do this like every year and sometimes like 5 or 6 times in a year.
Yeah, it can be a little stressful. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I feel like we get the best sleep during a hurricane.
Oh my God. We slept amazing last night.
Like the rain, the consistency of the rain throughout the night. Like sometimes we'll have like a pleasant rain, like just like a pleasant just rain. Well, no thunder, no lightning, no anything. Yeah. Last night was kind of like that. Like there was wind.
There was wind. You knew something was going down, but it wasn't like I cannot think of the hurricane we had last year where we stayed home and
I don't know. I forget the names.
the wind was, I think it was probably an eye again. The wind was like whipping around the house. Remember?
I remember that, and it was howling.
Now that was more intense than I feel like what we felt this time.
Yeah, this time it was windy, but it was more rainy. Like this just dumped rain on top of rain. Like the rain just felt like it was unending rain.
And it was weird because like it's bands, like that first band that came through yesterday was so dark. It rained for a couple minutes and then it was gone. And then there was nothing for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. And then the same thing kind of happened today where we were out looking at what happened and there was nothing for a little while. And then all of a sudden, a band, we get home, more bands. I'm like, what? The hurricane is literally like gone and we're getting stuff. So it had a weird shape to it.
Yeah. Which honestly, when I was watching it, there wasn't as much like lightning on the Weather Channel for this type of hurricane. There was a lot more rain. Like it was saturated with heavy rain pockets. So
a lot of moisture.
So which leads me to believe, like I said, the hot water is causing that, magic school bus. The hot water steams up, evaporates, fills these clouds, and then, dumps on the dry land because it's warmer over the land, so it causes it to fall. So
but it's probably a heftier, like, I don't want to say heftier hurricane, but like it's pulling more water than I feel like it normally would.
I mean, the ecosystem is living.
Just from how it was.
You think about it like this. California hasn't gotten rain in so long. Nevada hasn't gotten rain in so long. Lake Mead for Vegas, and
which they got a hurricane and they got rain.
They got rain, tons of rain. You know what I mean? Not saying that it put a humongous dent in the river and the lake, but
in the deficit that they've had for so long, the drought.
That was something that was like, that's almost like the areas are recycling themselves. There's water being distributed all over the country.
Things have ways of resetting. I mean, that's what the planet's trying to do all the time is reset.
Yeah. Always. I mean,
we just don't always look at it that way, but that is what it's doing. It likes balance. That's what lightning comes from, is balance.
Facts. Natural plasma right there.
But I did hear there was a lot of tornadoes.
Yeah, for real.
Did you see some of the way that the cold front was coming down and the hurricane was moving up, and then there was like another, like some other like wind that was coming from below the hurricane? That thing was like, no wonder there were so many tornadoes, because it was just all these different winds coming from all these different directions.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
You almost created a fucking fire tornado having me grilling.
Okay, disclaimer.
I was like, yo, whose idea was
So
this?
we went out yesterday to go like see stuff. And so we go to what is it?
Bayshore?
Bayshore. I don't know. I can't think of it right now.
Bayshore River.
We went to Bayshore yesterday and nothing was going on. You could tell it was like rough out there and there was bands coming through, but there wasn't much going on. We were literally out there for like 2.5 hours, I want to say. We made new friends out there. By the way, super cool ass people.
City Espresso, shout out.
Yes. We found out about an awesome coffee shop that we went to today because it was open and it wasn't flooded. But we just were out there like making new friends in literally the middle of a hurricane.
Right.
And so we were done chatting and we're gonna go home, and in my head I'm like, well, it's chill out here. Might as well grill out some food real quick before it gets crazy. I then checked the radar and there wasn't anything coming, like that window of opportunity was still there. And I'm like, okay, cool. I did not account for wind. Wind is not on a radar.
Meteorologist Micha got me fucked up.
So he's out there starting the fire. And what happened? Because I was inside. I didn't see it.
Well, what happened was the wind picked up in like 2 minutes. It felt like I had started the fire, put the little, fire starter wick in there, and the charcoal started burning. And then all of a sudden, like it was like out of nowhere, a strong gust of wind came. It was like started. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, all right,
it's assisting me.
Exactly. And then it just kept coming. It was like that kicked down the door, and it was just blowing so hard. And it was crazy to me. It was like I'm watching it circle around inside of this, charcoal grill, and it's literally at the very beginning. I literally have just sprayed the lighter fluid in it,
yeah.
and I had just lit it. So this flame is at its very beginning, and it's just like fucking burning in a gigantic circle. I'm like, what the actual fuck? This is about to burn down our house right now. Like, so I'm like, just out there underneath the awning. And then, like, shortly after that started, then the rain came. So now I got the rain slapping me on one side, the grill on fire on the other side.
The timing was almost perfect, but then it wasn't anymore.
Hell no, I was not okay at that
We
moment.
totally should have recorded this experience. It would have been an awesome TikTok.
I did record a part
Did
of the
you?
grill, like, burning. I was like, Jesus, this is how you die.
But as a
Ways
side
to
note,
die.
we made some steak that was bomb. The chicken was good. It just got a little bit toasty. But it
No, the
was
chicken
still
got
good.
burnt, man. The steak.
Well, the piece I
cooked-
had was yummy.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I made some sides and stuff. So we had a good meal last night. And then we got wine wasted because we were hanging out with their new friends. And they kept talking about that they were drinking wine. And then we just got inspired that we needed to drink wine when there's a hurricane too.
Facts.
And I have unlimited wine because I'm that girl.
We definitely got wine.
And yeah, we just were drinking wine. We grilled out, chill night, passed out.
I would pass out. I never
Passed
sleep on the
out.
couch, but I was tapped on the couch.
You were laying down there for like a little bit because
Yeah.
I passed out upstairs watching hurricane stuff.
Listen, our kid came and woke me up and was like, "Hey, you need to go get in bed." And I'm like, "You know what? Thank you, because you're exactly right. That's exactly what I do to her." So I'm like, "Nah, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna go get in bed."
And then we got up in the morning and it honestly felt like the hurricane was completely gone. When we got up, it was like a little bit of rain and I'm like, okay, this is the end.
Yep.
Normally, because again, we've done this many times. When it's done, like it's passed over, it'll be a couple hours and then all of a sudden the sun comes out. It's a beautiful day.
The sunset today was beautiful. When I
But
was driving
that didn't
Brody home,
happen
it was-
today. We had tons of rain today.
Yeah, the bands weren't done.
It was like shaped like a comma to where the back little, what was like being drug with it, just kept hitting us.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely was. It was a lot more rain, but I think that I think every place needs the rain that's coming right now. Farmers need it. Everybody needs it.
Yeah.
This is the end of summer, so like
We're
your
not
last
complaining, but there was definitely some flooded neighborhoods.
crops. Yeah.
Bayshore was flooded. There was a lot of spots.
No, I agree. Like when we went down, I mean, we couldn't even get to Bayshore when Jack put up his drone.
We tried.
Yeah, it was it was an interesting day. Like I'm gonna definitely be adding footage to show you guys exactly what it looked like.
We went to Riverwalk, which is downtown Tampa, and that's a
Yeah.
cool spot that we like to go to. And that was that whole, I don't know if, I wouldn't say the whole thing was flooded, but a lot of it was flooded.
Definitely.
And we got a lot of good footage of that,
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
which was something I've never seen before.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely something we had
That
never
was an
seen before.
experience.
For real, that was that was definitely an experience. You know what's like interesting about going down there that time? Like, you kind of get to see like how it could be. Like, you know what I mean? Like the infrastructure that's there prevents this, but this is what it would literally be, like a shore on the river. And
It is interesting. But even saying that, I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, okay, the water came up, but the really important things are not messed with. Like,
yeah, they're all a little bit more.
everything's a
elevated.
little elevated. Like, you walk down to these cool little walking areas by the water and these little like different areas to hang out, but it's not like this pertinent stuff. But I will say this, Tampa General Hospital, what were they thinking?
All right, so me and Jack were actually just talking about that.
Explain the
I'll explain
the
it.
dynamic
I'll
of
explain
that.
it in the history of Tampa, and I think this is what it was.
Okay.
When Tampa was originally created, that was where the ships would come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when we had wars, you got to remember that.
Which is what year are we thinking? What time frame was this?
I mean, when was Tampa created? In 1815?
no, it's way older than that because UT used to be a hotel
That's what I'm saying. So
for the rich.
you're missing. So you made my point. We know that Tampa was
It's an old city.
It's an old city, but it's an ocean city, so people would bring goods here. So if you just got off the boat
As a side
after a
note,
couple months at sea,
we're going to do another episode that gives the history of Tampa and kind of show you guys everything because I think we need to do that.
I agree, 110%.
But they brought goods in.
They brought goods into that channel. So the port of Tampa Bay has been around for over 200 years, whatever. So if you have the port of Tampa Bay, the closest thing you're going to need to a port is a hospital or something like that, a medical thing. So I think that's why it's where it was. You got to remember, there wasn't things that were that far. That lady's house, the Jets Cafe, the Jet City Espresso, I mean, that house is 100 years old. There's a reason that particular house in Ybor is 100 years old, and it's all within walking distance of the port. You know what I'm saying? So the port was very important in the development of Tampa.
Ybor is close.
Ybor is close. The hospital is close. Yeah. All of these places are within walking distance. You know what I mean? So Florida didn't have a major rail system until much later than everywhere else, because remember, Florida was owned by Spain for the longest time.
Right.
And Alabama was.
That's why we have a different dynamic as far as the way our city was designed.
Exactly.
Kind of similar to St. Augustine, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the history-wise, that's the reason Tampa General is where it is, because strategically, it makes sense. A hospital being right in the intercoastal where you're coming in, you're coming off of a boat.
But let me explain to those of you who don't live in Tampa, who don't really know what we're talking about. Tampa General is on an island. It's on its own island. And it's one of the top hospitals in Florida. So when patients are really sick, they go to Tampa General and they get bay flighted there. So when you think of like storm surge coming in, and you think of a really important hospital, but with really sick kids and adults on an island, like, and it's low lying. So that's the only reason why, like, that's why I was questioning it.
But you also know that Tampa General, the only things that are on the bottom floor that are really important to Tampa, the only things that I've seen that are on the bottom floor at being in Tampa General is culinary things. Like, there aren't any of
They've designed it so that if it floods, they're still okay.
Yeah, and they have generators on the roof. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day,
they've adjusted.
Yeah, but it's been designed like that. Like, the original Tampa General wasn't on the ground. You know what I mean? The original building wasn't on the ground. It was still on stilts because it's still on an island right next to the water. They weren't, like, foolish when they built it. And even Tampa General right now is still 2 stories off the ground. Like, if you go in the ground level, you have to go up 2 stories to get to the emergency room, which we found out.
Facts. You're right. It was just an interesting thing that I just thought of, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, it would have to be like a 45-foot storm surge in order for Tampa General to be in some type of trouble. Like, it would have to be like almost apocalyptic levels of water for Tampa General to go down, because like it would have to, that would engulf Jackson's. You know what I mean? Like, that high of water, and Jackson's is pretty fucking high.
Yeah, it was interesting today.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting.
We felt like little storm chasers.
I definitely had some fun out there. I was having some fun.
What did you wear today? Please
I wore my Burberry rain boots. Okay, so I got gifted these Burberry rain boots, and I tell you,
they're very cute. I like them.
They're very expensive. Okay, a friend of mine that passed away gave me these Burberry rain boots, and
some time ago,
she had expensive taste. She also gave me this Jason skeleton image behind us. But anyways, long story short, she gave me this, and I never had a chance to wear them. It's one of the things that you have in your closet and you just have it. I'm like, you know, I'm going to pass this down or pass this on to somebody. And I would just decided to wear it. The Burberry rain boots.
Well, that's not all he wore. He wore those with some khaki pants. Not Jake from State Farm. He had him a rain jacket and a tan bucket hat, which matched. Everything just matched. And he had his microphone out there. And he was reporting what was going on.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Did it turn you on to know that your husband could be a reporter? I could have been on News Channel 9. I could have done it.
Definitely could have done it. We were out. You know what was the coolest part is, well, not the coolest part, but one thing I thought was really cool. We got out there and we're like finding areas to show what's going on. And pretty much most of the areas that we're picking was right next to news crews. I'm like, okay, we're legit. Like, we know what we're doing and we're doing what they're doing. Yes.
Let's get it.
I was like, okay, we're getting it.
Facts.
So that was fun.
That was fun. So I enjoyed today. I think we've given them a nice little...
A taste of hurricane life.
A taste of hurricane life.
Floriding. I don't know how to say it. People are saying that we do our thing, basically.
We do.
Floridians floriding. I don't know.
Floriding?
Floriding.
Man, we just out here living, man. Salt life.
So don't be judging us, Florida people. Nah. We a different breed. Just understand we are different.
You have to be, especially like people in the Midwest and tornadoes. Like when they hear them sirens, man, people start shaking and jiving.
or they scream, NATO season, which I did not understand. So I didn't understand that type of person. So I'm sure you don't understand us.
Facts. If you're that guy that was in Lincoln, Nebraska about 2 years ago yelling out NATO season, was it 3 years
3
ago?
years ago.
3 years ago yelling out NATO season.
Oh my God.
When that tornado hit Lincoln, please.
We'll never forget you. We
please
will
comment.
always tell the story.
Facts. NATO season. Yeah. Well, yeah, with that bombshell and NATO season in the book.
We survived, you guys.
We survived. What was the name of this hurricane?
Idalia?
Hurricane Idalia?
Yes, 2023.
2023. This is the report. All right, y'all.
Bye, guys.